Hello and welcome back to Success by the Numbers, your show to help you understand numbers in your business better and to manage your business by the numbers. My name is Mona Tenjo and I'm your host as always. And I'm also the CEO of Work on Your Business, where we help business owners to work strategically on their business instead of drowning in it. Today, we have a really amazing guest. I'm super happy to have her. We have Valerie Prasetyo here in this call. And guys, you are in for a treat. You have literally, and listen up, guys, a world champion. This is no joke. She is a world champion in dancing. She can tell us a little bit about that in a moment. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's the founder of the Independent Women and also of the Independent Women Summit. So she organizes summits as well worldwide. Where she's really getting powerhouses from all over the world together. She's sharing super valuable information. She is an investor. She is a mother of two. And I think in this pandemic, that really says a lot about women, suffering with all of that. We can go a little bit into that, but I don't want to in any way diminish her business success because she is super successful. Many people know her all over the world. And she is here today to share value with you guys and to share about her story. So let's welcome Valerie.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for an amazing introduction. So I'm really grateful that you have me here today.
Absolutely. So maybe, Valerie, you can share a little bit about your background because maybe not everybody have heard of you, which is a shame. You should know about Valerie. So if in case people don't know you yet, would you like to share a little bit about your story and where you come from and where you are today? Just a little wrap up on so that people can get an understanding of why I'm so amazed by you.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm a citizen of the world because, I'm Korean, but I was born in the Central Asia. Nowadays I live in Europe. My family name is pretty much Indonesian and so on. That's why when people ask where you're from, it's always like, what should I say? So normally I say I'm from Germany because obviously I'm a citizen of Germany and it's like easy to eliminate any kind of questions. But well, as you mentioned, yes, I'm a world champion in ballroom dancing. It was always my passion because I really truly believe that no matter what you do in life, and you can have like many passions, you have many businesses, or you can focus on your career, but there should be something that really fuels you and gives you energy. For me, it was always dancing as a way of self-expression. As you know, I'm from Asian family where self-expression is not like pretty common thing. So dancing was always part of me where I could actually disconnect with the world and just like be in the flow with this music. And this was an amazing journey that also brought me not just success, but also I found my love. I had an opportunity to travel all over the world, meet an incredible people. And even now, as you mentioned, I have two kids and we have kind of maternity leave that actually stretched to 5 years. Crazy. I can't believe it. But I'm actually coming back on the dancing floor. Now I'm exploring a new discipline. So preparing for the competition. So was always, and I think will always be part of my journey. And I'm grateful for that. But apart this, talking about the business things, as you mentioned, I'm a founder and CEO of Independent Women World, and also we're doing summits all around the world, trying to bring event live in different parts of this world. It was a little bit tough the last couple of years, and we did some virtual things. But nowadays, I think it's time. This time really helped to realize what you want to focus on. And for me, it was always bring awareness about how you can build life that is not just like successful as people perceive success nowadays, but it's all about quality of life. It's all about how you feel every single day. And I think now I'm shifting in a little bit different direction, still providing good quality content, but in a different way. So we're launching some new projects. I'm excited about this, but if you follow me, you can learn more because there will be some nice launches in the upcoming weeks. So yeah. So I'm all about empowering women, empowering people in general, bringing awareness that they can build life that they really deserve or really want to live, and just live the life based on your own terms and conditions.
Awesome. I mean, there were so many great things. I mean, I'm not allowed how much I'm allowed to share. That's why I'm keeping back. Follow Valerie if you want to know the updates. I know that there's some really, really cool things coming up, and I'm super excited, and I can't wait for this to start. And also check out her dancing pictures. Like, seriously, like, I mean, she's posting regularly also on Instagram and so on. Really check them out. She is so beautiful. Like, really, like, not just a beauty, like as a beauty, like, but you can see how people shine when they're in their most favorite thing, right? And I mean, whenever I see Valerie in her ballroom dress, it's like, oh my God, this is like a queen, like a prince. I mean, it's really, and I mean, not only that she looks amazing, like when you meet her in person, like she has this grace, you know, like I think dancing is really helping people to have the right posture. You know, you stand differently. Like you see this immediately. When I met her, I was like, wow, this woman is impressive. But then she was so nice at the same time. I was like, wow, this is a really impressive combination.
Thanks a lot.
And going back, I mean, you already mentioned that, of course, dancing was your passion. And of course, you did it for a long time. But as many people probably know, you cannot dance professionally forever because, you know, it is tough for the body. So did you had from the beginning, like already a plan to go into business, or did this like happen? Did you had a career in parallel, right? So how did that whole shift go? Was it planned? Was this like an accident? Or how did you move from being a dancer to being a businesswoman and a serial entrepreneur today?
Well, dancing was always a hobby, let's say. It was always something, I cannot say secondary. It was like, let's say, another career, like, because I came to put something down. But I always wanted to have my own business. And in fact, when I graduated the bachelor degree, I started to work in the bank, but I was not really happy about my job because I always knew I cannot have a boss. Like it was something that was like always dragging energy from me. That's why I started my own business directly after I graduated the university. It was a dance school. We had different kind of directions. And, you know, at this point, I think we were guiding and leading our business based on like doing a lot of intuitive decisions. Like we didn't have coaches like nowadays. We didn't have access to information that nowadays we can. Of course, we just were like had a basic knowledge of business, let's say, because I graduated a business school. And I think this was just really based on some kind of instinct inside. That's why I think this business started to grow pretty fast. Even that we had tons of competitors on the market, because in the country I lived, like people really was all about like self-expression, figuring out how to like dance and be part of any kind of communities. And I think that's where I don't know how, but I learned not working in the business, but on my business. That's why we were hiring people who were teaching. I did not teach by myself. I just did part that I really enjoy. There was some like creative part, like creating shows, being choreographer, things like that. But most of this was really working on business, finding like sponsorships, events, promotional part, like marketing part. This was on me. This was I really enjoyed to do. And later on, of course, it was a lot of lessons, a lot of things that you want to learn. And, you know, as you know, I was traveling a lot and I lived in so many countries. And some people call it, you are unemployed, like, you know, entrepreneurs, you don't really have a job. So you're just on projects. What are you doing? Like, you're unemployed. So I'm officially unemployed since I think 2012, I believe. So I was always in some kind of this entrepreneurial path, doing like different projects that really comes from the heart. And I was in different industries. It was like fashion industry, it was also property industry, and nowadays it's educational. So the projects, like, okay, just a kind of sneak peek just for you. We are launching our TV show, and also last year we created our very first movie. So basically providing a high quality content, but on a different level that people really can consume, because, you know, there are so many things going on nowadays. Of course, people want to learn. Of course, people need this hope. They want to learn how to figure out, like, earn more money, or like created better life, even despite of this pandemic and the circumstances we have in the world. But at the same time, there is just like overflow of information, overflow of different kind of summits, events, and it's became a little bit, too much in a way. So that's what we were working on, to create high quality content with the expert from all over the world, but in a way that people really can consume this content.
And that's a great point that you're just addressing, because I think many people in this pandemic, of course, had to shift their business models, right? So, I mean, you were doing live events. You were really having like a few hundred people in a room, which obviously with the pandemic wasn't really possible anymore, right? So how did this impact your business model? And I know that you also did a lot on Zoom and a lot of virtual meetings. What is your experience on what was the things that worked pretty well? And where did you say like, people got tired and it doesn't really work that well? And what conclusions did you draw for yourself on how you changed that to make that more engaging? Or do you go back to the road? Like what's your business model on that end?
I think it's all about community and getting feedback from them, what they really want. And we really worked hard in the beginning. We actually built the whole platform from scratch during the pandemic. And we're doing like live streams and so many things, getting new members. But, it's all about what people want. It's not just we're like community based and really it's not like, oh, you must know this thing or here's the secret. In reality, you just literally go to your community and ask, what do you need, how we can help you. And then based on that, we were searching for experts and reaching out and creating engaging content. For example, a lot of people lost job and they were like looking for a job. What we did, we asked some people to, send us CV. What doesn't work? Why can't you find a job? And we found an expert who literally went through the CVs, and then we did event when she was explaining the common mistakes and we were correcting it together. Of course, it's more engaging and it really brings results immediately because you have an opportunity to really change something. So it's not just like talking, but it's also providing tools. And basically the second part is actually providing people tools and not just, inspiration is an amazing thing, motivation as well. But I think what matters is what people are going to do after attending your event or after talking with you. It's all about the tools that you provide. That's why I always talk about the toolbox. What is like toolbox? Well, toolbox basically you are building. I'm also mentioning this in my book. You have to have your own toolbox because no matter what is going on in your life, you can be powerful. It can be amazing. But we have different stages in our life. As you know, everything is a circle. It goes ups and downs. You have to find out how you can empower yourself by yourself, whether it's financial side, are you ready or not, whether it's health-wise, your well-being. There are so many different parts of your life. You have to decide for yourself what is important to you. And then based on this, you are starting to fill in this toolbox with different tools that you can take out when you really need it. So I think this was biggest part. We also gave this kind of tools to our members. We did different kind of really engaging things and challenges together where they also shared their results, and I think that helped a lot. But also when time changes and the market changes and also interest of people as well shifting, you have to always figure out something creative, something that people really will be engaging with, because it's not about you. It's not about like what you are doing. It's all about them. It's all about what they're going to do with this information.
And this is where the TV show also comes in the movie, right? So going with that flow, and I'm really excited. I'm waiting for this to release already because we also had a private conversation up front already where we talked about some of the contents, but I'm not going to release too much. Follow Valerie for more. And just to also mention the book that you just mentioned, it's called Unleash Your Inner Champion. So you definitely get that book. I'm going to put the link below also and on the show notes as well. Get that book because you want to definitely unleash your inner champion, right? Otherwise, come on, you have to unleash your potential, right? And I think that also leads to the next question. You started the whole independent women movement. Now, obviously, you are an independent woman, even though you have a family. You are a woman that stands in her power. You know who you are. So, what made you start that movement of independent woman? Why is this a topic dear to your heart? And what do you want to change in the world with this movement?
Whoa, it's like such a huge question. I think there are so many things, and again, it was just like a call inside of me, like sitting so long time, and there was different versions of this before, to be honest. And I actually worked with the coaches who were saying, what insane idea is that? Like, what kind of industry it can be? Like, who is going to pay you? Like, what kind of disempowered women can pay, and at this point I just delivered the first baby, and I was like at home and not really seeing the whole picture. But when I started to go out and see what people do, how things work, and figuring out that this is actually a multi-million industry and things are working completely different. But it's not only about this. I was connecting a lot with the vision, like basically why it's going, many reasons. As I mentioned before, in Asian families, and not only maybe Asians, there are a lot of cultures when you are pretty much suppressed, especially when you are a girl, a baby girl, and everybody expecting a son who is going to be a representative of the family and continue to do what has to be done. And I'm a third girl in the family, and there was a lot of kind of always expectations. And for me, it was so annoying all the time listening that, okay, women is just this, women should be doing that. So many stereotypes. This was one of the reasons. Another biggest reason for me, independent women was a part of my life for, in a way, self-healing. Because you cannot really build something sustainable, something big. People cannot really connect with you. And literally, I started from scratch. I didn't have network. I didn't have anything to immediately give people. So it was all about the vision, and then how people started to connect and really come to the event, speakers telling yes to the event. And that's how it was developed from nothing. Because it's just this inner drive, and my drive also comes from the fact that I was growing up in the family that is very comfortable, and my father was all about oh, this is my child, this is my daughter, it's like a princess. In a way, it's an amazing thing if you're a woman, and should be like that, because it's a great relationship with men, we'll say. But from the other side, it is very dangerous, because when you're too comfortable, right? Because at some point when everything was taken from me, and you were just staying completely alone on the ruins of your life, and you have to figure out how to live further and find this reason to live and find this motivation. It was very tough, especially when you, after this kind of living in the fluffy clouds, realize that this is the tough reality. And people can be that way, people can be different way. Like when you're successful, everybody here. When you are not, they just pretend that you don't know you. That's how it can be sometimes. So a lot of things were happening, and realizing that independence is actually the choice. You can also choose to not self-actualize yourself, not to reach your highest potential. Everybody have this right. Everybody have this right to just whatever, just sleep. Or you can make a decision to be independent. Independent means not only financially wise. Independent is not just, oh, here I am, I'm a feminist. And I would say, I cannot say that I'm like a feminist. I'm really pretty much about figuring out how to play your role as a woman, but in a way that it's not discriminates me, it's not puts me in some kind of limitations, but I also can provide to my spouse, to my partner, that he has space to develop and grow. and to build up these fruitful relationships. And that's how where also dancing comes from, because it's not 50-50, it's 100%, it's 100%. But you cannot give this 100% if you are dependent. If you're dependent on what other people think, if you're dependent on your limiting beliefs and they just putting you down, if you're limited, if you're dependent also, like spiritually wise, you don't want to accept yourself, or like it's on so many levels. And independent women started from educating women about the financial freedom and also teaching them how to manage with money. But then I realized that it's not enough, because people can learn how to do business, like learn basic skills, but it's still not really working for them because of mindset, obviously, because of their dependency on, oh my gosh, if I do something wrong, what he or she will say, what about my neighbors, what is this? This doesn't work. That really limits them as a human being, as an entrepreneur, as whoever, you know. And then there was so many things going on in life, and people were all about judging, about like, and when you're really afraid what people say, you will be judged. You're never able to make the decisions that make your life fulfilled, that make you really live full potential. And as you said, okay, it's like unleash your potential, unleash your genius. I talk unleash your champion. Because champions never settle down. Champions always looking for like greater level. Even if you learn this amount, you just go further. Even if you achieve this level of success, you go further. And there are so many things that are coming up to this independent women. And no matter in what independent women is going to, what kind of things it can be another projects, can be another events. It is all about based on this authenticity of being who you truly are, building the life that you really love and deserve to live, and also giving back to people.
That's so beautifully said. I have two questions. The first one, maybe just a little tip for the people, because you moved a lot. You mentioned that already, right? So you had to build new networks. I mean, everywhere you went, you were new, right? So how do people, especially knowing like many people are afraid, like new country, like I don't know anybody, like how shall I like get connections here? Like what's your best tips on like, okay, how did you find roots in those countries very fast? Because you are very well connected and you really have a great network. And of course that helps, but like, how did you build that? So what is your like a top networking tips for people like, I don't know where to start. I'm all by myself in COVID. What do I do? So
for me, it was always, I mean, now, of course, now it's changed, right? And for me, it was always like a self-challenge in a way. And believe me, first event that I did, I said to my business partner, this was the first and last event I ever done. She said, everybody tell that. And I remember we moved and we lived so many years in Germany, and I felt like, finally, I have my network, I have my people, I have something, like I established something, and we move. And when we moved in Dubai, and I don't know anybody, and I come up with this idea to bring independent women there. And it's like, how am I going to do that? I don't know. But the thing is, it's very, worldwide organization and event, as you mentioned. And it was not just like, searching people on Dubai, but obviously if you create event in no matter what country, you have to find somebody who can provide you information, because regulations are when I learned about the regulations to put event together legally and do it right, let's say, I was like, I'm not sure I want to do that. But I decided to go for it because there was so many licenses. You need to pay fees for that. You need like crazy things. But that's how it started, actually, just reaching out and asking questions. Of course, we have access, as I mentioned in the past, we didn't have. Now we have access, just Mr. Google, ask, go to in the past, actually nowadays as well. You can go, especially if you are in Dubai, everything is open, people do events. Go to events, connect with people. I would say in some countries, it's very challenging to build authentic relationships. Sometimes it can be a total waste of time because people are really talking, promising a lot, doing zero. That's true. In some countries, people are very transparent and direct, and this is an amazing thing. I love to work with such people because, okay, here's the contract, done. The major tips is just figuring out whom do you need in your team, what help do you need, whether it's outsourcing or you want to get some people who are going to support you, whether it's volunteers. I don't know what depends on the business. It depends on the purpose, or you're searching for clients. I think when you know what you want, first of all, you just need to really make up the list. You're starting to just really Google. There are a lot of clubs. Nowadays, they can be, of course, doing all like virtual things, but if it's allowed to do some small live events, it's, of course, better to go and feel people, meet them face to face. This is like step number 2, just like really research what kind of clubs. And then just really, it's all about trying and realizing, do I want to belong to this, or do I want to go and try something different? Because of course, there are a lot of platforms, a lot of organizations, a lot of events that are on a like weekly basis, on a monthly basis, but they're all different. They have different, let's say, flavor. As a result, they really attract different types of people. And that's all about what kind of people do you want to attract? Is it all about like transactional relationships, or you want to build deep connections? And then you just really go and see what are the values. You can also, like, biggest tip is also research the founders of these events and organizations and platforms, because based on it, you can more or less make up a picture what kind of people you're going to meet, because you basically attract more or less, like most of the people you attract, not all, but most of them are exactly who you are, let's say. And there's just go and try. And I know there are some people, for example, shy, and they're like afraid to connect with people, especially nowadays when we're just like all about like Clubhouse. It's all about talking. People don't see you even. Or you just take part in some Zoom call, nobody sees you, you can just switch off your camera and feeling relaxed. So I think it's very comfortable for people nowadays, I would say. But really try to talk, try to like participate in the conversation, to be noticed. Because if you want people to start reaching out to you, and not that you are all the time chasing somebody or chasing opportunities, you have to really start talking and being on the spot. And sometimes like nobody will give you the spot. You have to just make it work with your action. Just like raise your hand. If there is a question, just give an answer, show your opinion, provide the value. And that's how people start to notice you. That's how people start to reaching out to you. And the beginning is very hard, as always. But I think if you are really connected with vision and you're not doing things because somebody else is doing, because this is like the way to the failure, you know. Yeah. If you are doing this because that's what your heart tells you to do, people will reach you out by themselves, in fact. Because when I was putting events together, a lot of people with whom I still have very deep relationships, they reached out to me by themselves because they loved the vision, they loved like the vibe, everything that was created around that. And this is kind of priceless. Just be who you are.
Absolutely. And guys, there were some really, really valuable tips inside. So if you haven't catch them, rewind back and listen again, because this is very, very important. No, because they're really, really important things. I mean, again, as you mentioned, like you have to be yourself, but you also have to know what you want, right? If you don't know what you want, it's everything you do is a waste of time, because like you're just swimming, right? But you have to know where do you swim to and which lane is the right one, right? So you really have to think about what do you want. And then again, what you said, I mean, it sounds so simple, but guys, Google. Like seriously. I mean, when I was still in school back in the days, like we didn't have Google. We had to like find our way somehow, ask people, like go to a library, like library still exists really. But like, you know, back in the days, like, you had to believe that stuff because you had no other choice to get information. But now you have the information at your fingertip. You just have to ask for it, right?
Yeah, so there are meetups. There are meetups. There are so many local platforms where there are a bunch of events. Just go to Instagram and hashtag your city and event, and you will find a bunch of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about it, this is the last question also because I want to be respectful of your time. We talked a lot about different opportunities. And I mean, of course, you are high profile. So people, of course, reach out with a lot of things to you. But then you also, of course, have your own plans of what you want to do. So how do you prioritize the opportunities that come into you? Like, do you have some decision parameters that you run every opportunity to? Or do you have like a system? Or do you say like, that's just a gut feeling, whatever I want, I do it?
It's so great that you asked, to be honest, because as you mentioned, when you start doing things, you're like, oh, trying to grab any kind of opportunity, then you feel like overwhelmed because you have too much on your plate. And then there at some point, even if you like, I'm a person who cannot really sit on one place and I want to develop myself here and to learn more about there and travel and do so many things. And it's very, in reality, it's a great thing in terms of like energy level. From the other side, it's very dangerous because people like we have tendency to burn out. And that's what I learned. I learned like a lot of things during the last time. And nowadays I prioritize my time and basically everything what I do on a completely different level. And because also your show is all about success, not only by numbers, I believe, but also even numbers, right? Because the amount of money you make, it depends on how fixed you are, what kind of person you are in a way. So I think there are, I don't know if maybe I should share these things because it's a little bit goes in a spiritual way, but your physical body, spirit, and your mind, they're always connected, no matter if you believe or not. And there are also universal laws that work, no matter if you know about this, you don't know about that. And when sometimes things happen, some people very often ask, why did it happen to me? Look, I'm keeping everything in control. I'm an amazing person. I'm doing this. I'm giving back. The reason is that it means there are some kind of things that you're not aware, you don't have knowledge, and they work against you because you don't know it and you don't use it for yourself. So there are really a hierarchy of things in the universe that if you don't follow it, something start to, make your life challenging. And I really believe that you can achieve any goal in two different ways. It can be super hard, meaning you have to work like crazy. You don't have life, like no family, no friends, nothing, because you work, because you believe you should be like that. That can be a very also easy way when you can have a little bit more in your life. Of course, you need to work, but you can also allow yourself to get things easier. So the hierarchy is like basically the priorities that you set in your life is pretty much simple. Number one is, what do you think it is? It's I am. It's you should be the very first one person. For some people, it will be like, it's selfish. No, it's not selfish, because if you are not fixed, if you're not okay, if you are not good, your business will fail, your relationship will fail, nothing will work. You have to invest time, you have to invest resources in yourself, whatever it is. Knowledge, health, even just like treat yourself good, whatever it is, figuring out what makes you happy. Number two is your partner. So whether you have kids or you don't have kids, it's not kids. It's your partner. Because very often when you are married and then you have maybe first child, or maybe you have puppy, you just like a pet parent, they're just like putting this on the first place and like a chicken with the kids. Oh, this is my life. I understand this. I'm also mom, right? But you have to figure out like one simple thing. First, then you met your partner, and your kids will be role modeling these relationships. And if they are not fixed, and if you are not really enjoying it, they will pretty much develop the same kind of life as you are projecting to them. Third place, it's your environment. And you say like, oh, wait a minute, where is my work? Where is my this? If you don't have an environment that will actually empower you, give you power, give you energy, you cannot be a high achiever as well. And so many people like, oh, I will just, leave things as they are, and maybe in 1 month I fix it, and then in 1 month they are like sitting in a very unhealthy environment, like full of dust, dirt. I don't know. I saw different things because I like doing Zoom. Sometimes people are not aware about this, but it's very important, your environment. If you're not a feng shui guru, that's fine, but just like simply make it pleasant for your eyes, for yourself, put things that empower you, makes you happy. Also, what area you live, it's very important. And people very often ask me, why did you move from this amazing place like Dubai or whatever it is to this country? Because you have to just allow yourself to live where you feel happy, where you feel like energized, when you're enjoying, right? So start asking yourself what really brings you energy. Also, again, the whole family of people who are in your household, they are very, you affect their well-being in a way. And that's where environment also comes from. Fourth place, finally come kids, if you have them. Of course, if you don't have kids, the next. So kids, of course, then because now you're empowered, you have awesome relationships. Now you can be a great role model for the next generation who are growing up in an amazing environment, healthy, and just really have joy, let's say. And I can see it's a big difference, because if something is not working, they give you a signal. They're getting sick, their behavior is changing. However, when they're in a great space, they're always happy, healthy, and everything is working great, and you have a lot of time to work. So, and that's when work actually comes. The next is work. If you didn't fix before things, and you are not in peace in it, I mean, you can be really single, and that's fine, but you have then to work on yourself. If you did not fix it, you cannot really move forward with a lot of things. So that's when work comes. And if you have situations like, pretty much often you have situations like, oh, what should I put first? You have to go back to this kind of hierarchy. Then comes parents, then comes your hobbies, then comes your friends and social life. And not vice versa, because, so many people are struggling nowadays because, oh, where's my social life? Where's my friend? Where here? This is an amazing opportunity to fix yourself. So often they watch this kind of shows that amazing people like Mona are creating, and there's so many other sources that will help you to really go to the next level. And look, now slowly we're going back, like everything is opening again. And if you invested this time to really up level yourself, you will see that the life will be completely different. And it's never late to start. So that's basically the principles I work on. That's why I really downsized the amount of projects. I focus only on what really makes sense for me, passion-wise, money-wise, and of course, based on this kind of hierarchy, if I can spend enough time with my family, with my kids, and have time for myself. So I know it was a long answer, but
no, but that was super, super valuable. I mean, guys, seriously, like, check your life. I mean, really take a pen if you haven't written it down yet. I mean, you guys, you know me, write down stuff, please. If not, rewind, go back to that hierarchy and really check, what are you spending your time on? I mean, priority one also means that should be like the time that you spend the most on, because I mean, I totally agree. You have to first of all put yourself, it is not selfish. It has a reason that in an airplane, people tell you, put on the oxygen mask first for you before you start putting it to everybody else. It's first you, because you have to first of all look at yourself, because you cannot help anybody if you yourself are not in the right position to do that. You can only help others when you come from a place of strength from yourself. And you have to fix that first. And if anything goes wrong with your life, it usually goes back to there. Something is off in your space, and the great thing about this, I mean, I know many people are like, yeah, but this sucks because like all the self-development. Guys, but the great thing about this is you can fix yourself. It's difficult to fix other people because you have influence on them, right? I mean, you can be a role model to kids, of course, so you can live by example, but you cannot influence them in that way as you can with yourself. You can influence yourself. And as a consequence, you can also influence your business. But if you don't fix your own things, like, I mean, I just had discussions like the last week again, where people say like, yeah, but I don't think I'm worth that. Well, how do you want to put out a price and negotiate a good price in your business if you don't feel like you're worth that? That's a problem, right? Because how do you want to stand in your power and say, I'm worth that money, pay me, right? How do you want to do that if you don't believe that yourself? So you have to start working on that belief first before you can fix it in your business. And then the business will almost automatically fall into place because you have that belief anyway. And it's just like an implementation of what you believe anyway. And so this is totally, it was so valuable. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it makes the decision process so much easier. What should I focus on? Does it serve you? Yes or no? If no, why the hell are you doing it at all? You know, like if it doesn't serve you in any way, cut it, like stop it right there. It doesn't make any sense. So that makes the decision so much easier. And it's so true. Most people are also influenced by so many other people. Like other people try to influence your agenda. That's very dangerous. Like if you are not okay with that, then stop it. Like it's your life. You can decide what you put your focus on. And if you don't like that other people put stuff in your calendar, then delete it out of your calendar. You have the power over your calendar, right?
This is like amazing video. Like you probably watched it. Like stop it.
Yep.
You need to watch it. Like oh, I've struggled with this. What should I do? Stop it. Just stop.
We will put that link in the comments so you can check that out as well. Thank you so much. I know that you have so many other things to do, so therefore I definitely want to leave you with this. So guys, this was a highlight at the end again, like this prioritization. Go through it, check your life against where do you spend your time on, and then go back to like all this information that Valerie just shared, and I mean, I think it was a great inspirational story, but not just inspirational, because as you said, inspiration is great, but it doesn't last forever. You have to really start getting into implementation. So go back, listen to what was just said, take notes for yourself. How can you apply that to you? What can you take from this conversation and really say, okay, oh, that was a highlight for me. I actually learned something. Like, how can you now apply that in your life? How can you make your life, your business better because of what you just heard? And then you start improving step by step. It doesn't have to be like, oh, now I have a new product. Like, no, I mean, it can be little small things like an aha moment of, oh, I could reschedule my schedule today, right? So that could be one of the actions you take from today, and really start implementing this into your life and start seeing results very fast, because all the little things add up over time. Don't underestimate that. Thank you so much. So I'm going to link again Valerie's book, Unleash Your Inner Champion. And I wanted to add something to that. The human species is the only species in the world that has the choice to actively not achieve their full potential. No other animal in the world has that choice. And we humans choose every day to underperform. Stop that. Unleash your inner champion. Stop that and really unleash your full potential. And I mean, most people only run on like 5 to 10% of their full capacities. Just imagine what you could do if you unleash that. Just imagine, like just 10% more, like the double of what you have today. Think about that. And with that thought, I want to leave you for today. Thank you so much for taking the time, Valerie. It was a pleasure to have you. Guys, again, please share this video. Please like this video. Show it to people who need to see that. When you say like, oh, that's something that a friend of mine has to see, tag them, share it with them, subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss out. I'm going to link, as always, I'm going to link Valerie's contact information. What's the best way for people to reach you? Any preferred platform you have?
It can be LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to put the links also in the show notes. Of course, please feel free to reach out and connect. Don't just reach out, connect. Make a connection. It's the first step of your network. Connect. And then I wish you.
Another tip to connect is, because you were asking, sorry, we need to finish this, right? So if you want to connect with any person, not just with me, write down why, where we met, what's your intention to connect, because like lots of people are connecting without any kind of reason. And then maybe if you really need somebody's attention, or you want to really connect, invite, whatever it is, you have to let this person know why. Because just leave a message. There is an opportunity in social media to write a message before you connect.
Absolutely. And if you really want to make a great connection, add value to that person. That's the easiest how you can make a positive impression on anybody. Add value to them. share something where you think, hey, that could be interesting, or introduce somebody to them, or, share some information that you may have that could be of value for other people. That's the easiest way. I mean, the nicest thing, of course, for this video is like, tell Valerie what you thought about that. What did you take from here, right? What was a learning that you have? Like mirror it back, because I think it's also in entrepreneurship very difficult sometimes, because sometimes we act like in a vacuum, right? If nobody gives you some feedback, like, I don't know if it's good or not, right? Because nobody reacts. So give some feedback, like say what you like, because that helps us also as entrepreneurs to manage, like, okay, what type of content do we put out, right? Or what type of programs do we develop for people? So that feedback is very important, So with that, guys, we see us back next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, subscribe, don't forget this, otherwise you will miss out. And, I'm looking forward to seeing you back next time. And thank you once more, Valerie, for taking the time.
Thank you.